Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight on our news.
The health minister responds to that local poll on marijuana.
Bahamas Cannabis Research Institute advocates for the decriminalization of marijuana.
Find out what conch vendors have to say about the Ministry of Health conch poisoning warning.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, former Free National Movement Member of Parliament and Cabinet Minister Fenton Moore is speaking out about his battle with stage 4 colon cancer. Moore has been a vocal public figure since 2007, but very few knew he was privately fighting a battle for his life. In fact, Moore says he has repeatedly been on the brink of death and back. But as our Jasmine Brown reports, his battle with cancer is not holding him back.
I'm just happy to be here. I battled with it. It's one hell of a battle.
It's the Fenton Moore we've all come to know. A booming voice and fiery interviews have been a trademark for Moore since he was voted into office when the Free National Movement won the 2007 general election. Even after the FNM was voted out, Moore, an engineer by trade, remained outspoken about energy, a topic near and dear to him. Despite his changed physical appearance, Moore said only God can take him down. The former FNM MP, who said he's been at death's door multiple times, revealed he counts each day as his last.
I've been told at least about 20 times that I'm going to die quickly. And every time they've been wrong. I remember one night in the emergency room, they're saying we're going to go. Let's start planning his funeral while he could talk. So I've been under that. I've been in a situation, and luckily I was saved by Bahamian doctors.
Moore was diagnosed with colon cancer on February 10, 2014, and while he has beaten cancer, he said he is dealing with some other issues. His story is one of survival and strength, but it's also one of sorrow and pain. However, his optimism remains strong, as does his relationship with God.
I've gone through chemotherapy for a very long time. I'm talking years. I've gone through radiation twice, and I've had reconstructive surgery 3 times. During that same time, I was looking healthy. And that's the message I want to say to people. You know, you can continue to live life with cancer. You know you're a walking time bomb, but let's move on. And thank God.
In addition to dealing with his health, Moore has had to deal with devastating rumors surrounding his health. Over the weekend, he sent a voice note to the people of Exuma, the constituency he had sought to represent, expressing his disappointment that recent photos of him have been circulated and some cruel and unchristian statements were made. He says his wife took it the hardest.
It affected her greatly mentally because here it is, we're making fun of cancer. We're making fun of someone who is sick. And that shows no compassion. I mean, what were they trying to prove? Really, other than to hurt me and hurt my family. And so they didn't realize how painful politics could be. Although I've been through it, and the 5 years were the worst 5 years of my life, I consider. Worse than the fight with cancer. But it's very hard on them, extremely hard, particularly the phone calls. People walking up to my wife, my condolences. It's like he's not dead, and you have to repeat the same story, and it's also exhausting.
Still, a defiant Moore says those who sought to tear him down have not broken him.
They were not successful in beating me, and they're not going to defeat me. When I go, it's because God took me.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, police introducing a new tool to protect children and adults from sex offenders. The Marco Alert officially launched at police headquarters this morning, with police explaining how it will be used, who it's for, and why there's a major need for it. Kyle Joaquin tells us more.
Whatever information is coming to you from the system, that it is a secure message coming from the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
Nearly 7 years after 11-year-old Marco Archer was gruesomely murdered, authorities have introduced a new tool to help with alerting the public about missing children. The pilot phase of Marcos Alert will take place over a period of 3 months. It sends mass notifications internally and to groups of people regarding missing children, neighborhood watches, and even the weather.
You can either send that information via text, we can send it via email, we can also actually link this to other social medias.
Once you receive an alert on the mobile app, your phone will go off, even if it is set on silent, and you'll have the option to respond. National Security Minister Marvin Dame said this is just the start of something bigger.
This is just one component of our overall thrust to address the problem of sexual offenses in this country and sex-related crimes and the offenders.
But to get alerts or send information to police, you'd have to sign up. And you do that by emailing marcosalert@rbpf.bs or visiting www.royalbahamaspoliceforce.org.
And as we have said, whether it be a missing person, whether it be just someone who is wanted, whether it be a weather alert, whatever the reason we deem that the public need to be aware of a particular information, this system gives us a secure means to send that information out to members of the public.
If police deem an alert to be important to all members of the public, Dame says a mass message will be sent out to everyone in the area. Messages can go to phones, pagers, emails, loudspeakers, social media, and through secured encrypted messages. Info passed out on the alert won't be your typical messages shared on social media, which has been used in the past to spread fake news.
This system gives us the capability to send this message out to members of the public, and you don't have to worry if that information is actually authentic.
Now, the National Security Minister says after this test phase, there are a number of other initiatives government is working on in this fight, one of which is a sex offenders registry. Reporting from police headquarters for our news, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Despite a recently released poll showing strong support for the legalization of marijuana for medicinal purposes, Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands says he doesn't believe there's much of a local market. Despite that, Dr. Sands says the Bahamas will not turn a blind eye to what's happening internationally, as he predicts the marijuana debate will heat up over the next few months. Jasmine Brown has more in this report.
Sands says the issue, like any other touchy topic, could end up being explosive. However, he insists the administration is determined to hear all sides.
When we look at the handling of a matter as important as corned beef and the polarization of Bahamians on that matter, when we move it to topics like capital punishment, when we talk about family planning, birth control, condom use, and other emotive topics, marijuana is going to be a hot topic.
Bahamian market and opinion research firm Public Domain released a poll that showed 71% of respondents believe marijuana should be legalized for medical purposes. The survey was commissioned by the nonprofit group Bahama Can to gauge Bahamians' attitudes on medical marijuana.
There were certainly no surprises.
Sands says while there is a lot of talk about medicinal marijuana, the facts show it is not a miracle drug.
There aren't a whole plethora of medical conditions that have been documented to be benefited by medical marijuana.
The marijuana debate was reignited earlier this year after the CARICOM Regional Commission on Marijuana held a town meeting on January 5th. The commission will present its findings from a study on the Caribbean's viewpoint on the decriminalization of marijuana at the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting in Jamaica this week. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis and a delegation are in Jamaica. The commission's report, which was leaked to the Jamaica Gleaner, indicated the commission is unanimous in its view that the current classification for cannabis, marijuana, as a dangerous drug with no value should be changed to a classification of legal cannabis as a controlled substance. Sands says government will listen to all sides of the debate.
All of those voices are entitled to be heard in this country. Where the Bahamas settles on that spectrum, are we going to be closer to the Canadian approach? Are we going to be closer to the American approach? Are we just going to be uniquely Bahamian? I think this is an exciting time for our democracy.
Attorney General Carl Bethel has said he will not support the legalization or decriminalization of marijuana in the Bahamas as long as it is criminalized by the U.S. federal government. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
The Bahamas Cannabis Research Institute is slamming the health minister's claim that there's no market for medicinal marijuana. This as the group pushed for the substance to be decriminalized. Our Jillian Gray tells us more.
One day following a public domain survey which found that 71% of respondents are in favor of the decriminalization of marijuana for medicinal purposes, Bahamas Cannabis Research Institute say they too stand with CARICOM's decision to dismantle the prohibition of the drug.
For medical and adult use, we're in full alignment with the CARICOM report. But as it relates to the industrial use, that should happen today. You know, the industrial products, the creation of all the other products that we can derive from hemp.
Bakari Chair Terry Miller slammed claims by Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands, who said there is no market for medical marijuana in the Bahamas. Miller, who runs a drug treatment program, said not only will the market be sustained by tourists who use medicinal marijuana, but also by Bahamians who need the drug. He estimates the market can generate up to $100 million and heralded its use for opioid treatments.
I hail from outside the gates of hell. I was hopelessly addicted to crack cocaine for 10 years. From 1979 to 1989, when I hear music from the 80s, I swear it's a new song. My friends use it to self-treat crack cocaine addiction. Some may say, as I did at the time, that they were only substituting one drug for another, but the proof is in the pudding.
Miller, who said he too had been arrested for possession of marijuana, became emotional as he explained his discontent with the amount of persons imprisoned for possession of the drug.
When I think of the young men who are presently in prison for possession of small amounts of marijuana.
Bakari plans to collaborate with the government in a cannabis awareness campaign and will hold health, economic, and education seminars. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Still to come on Our News, what Potter's Key vendors are saying about conch poisoning cases on that dock. The details after this break.